I try not to let little things like this get to me. But you're not rescuing pets when you get them from a shelter. The shelter rescued them. See, my pets are rescues, except for Simba. He was born from a rescue. His mom, Sheila, literally had a tree fall down on her during Hurricane Gustav. And her, as a little tiny kitten, her mother was up on the tree, kind of panicking and meowing and going back and forth and didn't know how to get her. And then the mama ran off when I came to help, and I found a insect larva, like a wasp larva of some sort, just swelling up on her side. Wound up like disinfecting it, thinking it was some kind of a bite, and then wound up actually pulling out the larva. Okay. Dingo I found in a storm right after the lightning struck. He just kind of crawled, like it was just pouring down like buckets of rain, and he just crawled out from underneath this car right after the lightning struck. I was walking back up my stairs, lightning struck, turned around, and I see this puppy. He just like he looked like he had came out from underneath the car. I didn't actually see him come out from underneath the car. Midnight is a reincarnation of a cat that we'd found a year before, who was literally the exact same color, the exact same, like, soul. It really did seem, and I kind of, like, said it was going to happen, because that cat died. We found it after it had flooded really bad during, like, it was still really cold. I'm not sure exactly when. I think it was over a year ago. Like I'm sitting there thinking about that March flood last year, but I don't think that was it. It was the one that happened a year before that. That wasn't quite as bad. But anyways, I go and find this kitten, in the woods over there, between the properties, and then the row of woods between the properties, and just starving to death. It was just too late for it. It could barely move. It was breathing very faintly, and it was just already just oozing out of its eyes. It had just been emaciated. And well, I snapped my fingers and I made a promise, because I don't like to see my little girls cry. So, anyways, um, yeah, and I I tell them, like, Daddy knows magic, okay? Because it's not like I can hide it from them when the power goes out and I fucking, like, make it go back on, or like there's a tornado coming and I smash it, or they argue with me during a lightning storm. And if you're not laughing right now already, I guess I should explain. See, what happens is during a lightning storm, the more valid of a point I make, the more lightning fucking strikes. And, like, it's really to the point where, like, if you piss me off and there's a lightning storm, if I just go like that to you, lightning's gonna strike. Lots of it. Okay? It's weird for me too. Okay? Don't. I'm not bullshitting, not making this up, not trying to get people to believe stuff that isn't true. Just sitting in my shiny blue winter pajama shirt and, trying to convey my fucking memories to people because I think they might be important. So yeah, um, the kids are told the Merlin story, and the kids are told about reincarnation. Otherwise, they are simply raised as Christians. So, I do think I've told the story about misogyny and John the Baptist and Mary to my older one, but anyways, I think that's a story that everybody needs to hear so we can stop being sexist about religion, because Christianity was not founded as a sexist religion, and everything wrong with the world can be fixed by fixing that. Everything. Christians, do you believe in Christianity? Do you believe that Christianity can fix the world? You should if you're a Christian. Well, if Christianity isn't fixing it, then I guess you're not getting Christianity right, are you? So if you start getting Christianity right, for a change, chances are, things might get better. Because no one wants to hear the preaching of hypocrites. Except for other vain hypocrites. That's why nobody but the people who agree with Fox News can possibly tolerate watching more than 5 minutes of Fox News. Because Fox News exists to destroy this country. There is not a single slice of integrity throughout their entire fucking staff. Megyn Kelly included. Boy, did she full of fucking fast one on all of us, didn't she? That is one just creepily well-composed girl. I was kind of having mixed feelings about like where she was going, because like her demeanor is really hard to read. And I think she was actually intentionally faking wisdom. Like she was intentionally faking being a reasonable person. And I don't know if it was just to lull us into a sense of false confidence or what. Like I have a problem understanding how so much could happen to her, supposedly. And then she goes and waits until after the election to give us all the details. What the fuck is that? You know? And now she's just another right-wing talking points machine. How dare Democrats want to stand up for their democracy? Fox News, you are destroying America. There's no two fucking ways about it. Fucker Carlson. That is one annoying son of a bitch who needs to be beaten to death with his own shoes. You know, I'm sure it would take a while because they're probably fucking penny loafers, but still. These are the jokes. Too morbid for you? Find a new channel. Seriously. I would start with the fucking soft side. Because that motherfucker there. You're going to spend 20 minutes arguing with an Islamic propagandist and not bring up what the Quran says, what the Hadith say about killing Christians and stuff like that. You're going to make it all about, you know, their political fucking talking points. And you know what? If Trump was such a straight talker, why does everything he fucking say turn out to be a lie, or a contradiction, or generally fucking crazy sounding. But really, like, why is it that someone who's basically, let's face the facts here, the primary motivation for his election, for his voters, was Islamophobia. That's the primary reason. Okay. And I'm not saying it's not justified. I'm not trying to get into that argument. Because obviously I'd win it. But the fact of the matter is, Donald Trump did not address the issue. Okay? In fact, the other Republicans debating him in the primary seemed to be more willing to address the issue than he was. He is willing to cause the division without promoting the reflection. Okay? So he's willing to accuse and cause people to, blanketly categorize all Muslims as being Islamic. Okay? I know we're parsing words here, but there is a fucking difference. A secular Muslim is not the same as a Ba'athist or a Salafist Islamist. They are completely different fucking people. It's like saying that someone who goes to a non-denominational vineyard church has anything in common with, like, a First Baptist in the middle of nowhere in Texas. Or better yet, how about the people who only go to only the Vineyard Church and only on Christmas and Easter? Okay? Because a lot of these people that you're being afraid of, that's the kind of Muslims they are. They don't fucking pray. They don't even own prayer rugs. They don't pray 5 times a day. They're not trying to conquer anything. Sure, they might be being used by the greater Islamic scheme of things. Okay? But you know what? So are you, dumbasses. Love your neighbor and pray for those that hate you. Love your enemies. If one strikes you on one cheek, turn and let him strike the other. That was actually advice given to women at the time. But it still does retain the sentiment that modern people understand. But if given in a universal context, it would have come with other tidbits like protect the weak even at the cost of your own life. Fighting for somebody else, fighting for a cause, and fighting for self-preservation or fighting for pride. They're different things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't fight to preserve yourself in all situations. Okay? But if it's a matter of you have a choice, and it's whether or not to be non-lethal in defense of yourself or even in defense of your nation, um, you should do that. If you have a choice between provoking someone and taking a hit for having provoked them, and then realizing, okay, are you done? I'm sorry. Now do you accept my apology? It's called not letting, like, it's called, yeah, sure, why not? It's called not letting your ego control your actions. And, sometimes defending yourself is necessary, but most of the time it really isn't. Most of the time, anger makes an excuse. And this is exactly what's happening to the alt-right. Anger is using fear as an excuse. And that's spoiling all of your tactics. Because if you know anything about fighting, you know that you can't really make good decisions when you're making them out of anger. Okay? And that's what this is. This is a revenge type need. Okay? And it's also an anger that's based upon Christians not feeling like Christianity has a voice anymore. Okay, but you got to realize that's your fault for being hypocrites and for being assholes to everybody. What used to hold Christianity together and make it just not even debatable whether or not it was a value to society was that Christians were the opposite of people like fucking Trump supporters. Just the opposite. The Crusaders, well, not all of them, but the organized Crusaders were, generally speaking, not bloodthirsty people looking for an excuse to kill people. They were people who spent a lot of time praying and contemplating the best way to defend Europe. Okay? And, much like these days, the best way, fight them over there so you don't have to fight them over here. That was the strategy back then. So in that respect, the Iraq War really was somewhat of a fifth crusade. How many were there? 17 and a half. So anyway, didn't this start about puppies or some shit? Yeah. Dingo. Dingo, are you a rescue? Or are you adopted? No, you're a rescue. If you buy a fucking dog that's purebred, you bought it. You didn't adopt it. You go to a shelter and find the dog that doesn't have a home. That's an orphan dog that the shelter rescued. You're not rescuing it. You're adopting it. You find a dog on the side of the road or a cat in your backyard that's hungry, that's injured, cold, something like that, needs you in some way. You rescued it. If you're just sitting outside and a perfectly fed, happy cat or dog comes up to you and just becomes your friend and decides it wants to be with you, you found it. Found it. Didn't rescue it. You could maybe say you adopted it. If you took it to the shelter and got its, stuff done and everything, or the vet, whatever, right? But you didn't rescue it because it didn't need you. It was fine. It was fine. You're friends. You're not its mommy. I am Dingo's mommy, obviously. Yeah. At midnight, the reincarnated dead kitty. Man, I'm telling you, like down to the brown tones of his fur and his little white spot, his little grayish, whitish spot. It was like the same cat. And I don't even know if it was a year later, if it was 6 months later. It might have been that March flood from last year. No, it seems like longer ago. Yeah, I'm just recapping everything I was fucking talking about since I just got on a total tangent there for 20 minutes. How about that? Okay. Midnight. Um, Found him in the woods in the same spot, but he was like meowing, very skittish, very hungry, very hungry, very skittish, and he would like come up to your hand and sniff you, and then he would act like he would was gonna let you pet him, and then he would like go like this and like keep an eye on your hand while you tried to pet him, and then slip out from underneath you and then run away a little bit, and like I think I said it on a video like whenever the hell we did find him. Um, I had to like put the food out there and like lay down and just like kind of like play like a comfortable, playful cat and relax for him and get him comfortable until I finally got a hold of him and got him purring. And he was just a little tiny baby. He is bigger than Tiger Lily now. Midnight, the little black one. So anyway, I know that's fucking fascinating. You know, especially for single guys. Just in case you haven't heard, women talking about their cats. Fucking get on. Single guy gets on the phone with a single girl who's got a cat. You're gonna hear a lot about a fucking cat. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, when you have kids, um, back to talking about my oldest, it doesn't matter what you're trying to concentrate on, how deep me and my wife get into a conversation about business or a legal case that she's helping with or something like that. Nope. She got something to tell you about that cat. You're going to hear about that cat. What that cat's doing, what that cat just did, how cute it looked doing something. Girls like to talk about cats. And on that bombshell, it's time to find something productive to do. I suggest you do the same after you do this. Peace.